Hatem Ali, this free Syrian, was born in the village of the Golan in 1962. He was not fortunate enough to live a quiet life like the rest of the children of Syria. When he was 6 years old, his family fled to Damascus in a wave of displacement after the fall of the Golan to the Israeli occupation. Hatem the child was displaced with his family as he lived the experience of alienation, asylum and deprivation, which helped him in creativity during his directing the Palestinian Alienation series, which he mastered in directing. Hatem moved with his family to Damascus and initially lived with this family in Yarmouk camp. All joined the Higher Institute of Dramatic Arts in Damascus and graduated in 1986. He began writing theatrical stories, dramatic texts, and short stories. Hatem began his artistic life as an actor with director Hatem Ali in the 1988 series Circle of Fire. Then his participation in dramas that embodied different characters, ranging from historical and Bedouin roles to contemporary characters with multiple styles. The Syrian Hatem Ali began his directing career in the mid-90s after he matured as an actor in the Syrian drama that made his stardom. He began acting in the mid-80s and continued to act until the last moments of his life. And despite his preoccupation with this work as a director, he never forgot his brilliance as an actor. Ali's influence on Syrian and Egyptian drama in particular and Arab drama in general was clear. He is a sophisticated and brilliant director who, since entering the world of directing, has managed to carve out a clear position among his peers and to be a different voice at a time when differences were a curse rather than a blessing. The beginning in his native country, and he proved himself as an actor who started timidly through television nights that made him close to the hearts of viewers, followed by the successful cooperation for the seasons of the famous Syrian series Mirrors with the star Yasser Al-Azma, so he directed 2 seasons of the famous series, which carries a sarcastic and critical tone of society. Our friend was not satisfied with this, but continued his critical tone of society. So he directed the series My Family and I by Jared Laham and the series The 4 Seasons, with its parts written by his wife Dala Al-Rahbi and starring Khalid Taja, Hala Shaukat and Jamal Suleiman. The road was paved for Ali after the series to enter his second stage in directing, as he started with the series Al-Zir Salim and the series Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi, and appeared after the appearance of the first part of the Egyptian series Eagle of the East, which dealt with the life of Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi by the veteran Egyptian director Hosam al-Din Mustafa. But by comparison, Ali proved that his version of Salah al-Din was the best in its most dramatic elements. In 2004, after the presentation of the series Spring of Cordoba, a series of work appears on that stage, which is the series The Palestinian Alienation, which witnessed integration of most of its elements, especially with the issue discussed in the series, which is the Nakba and its effects on a poor Palestinian family struggling to survive under the British mandate, and then during the Great Palestinian Revolution, and in the tense of asylum after the Nakba, where the events that this family went through summarize an important historical period in the lives of Palestinians that stretched between these 30s and 60s of the 20th century through many important events until the stayback of June 1967. Ali was not satisfied with making this series that touched Arab ashes, but he completed his career in historical series through Kings of Sects, which discussed Arab rivalries by narrating the period of sect kings after the fall of the Umayyad Caliphate in Andalusia and the emergence of rival small states in the Arab cities of Andalusia, as he tells about the emergence of the Almoravids in Morocco and their control in the end over the states of the kings of the sects to protect them from falling into the hand of Castle, with whom many of the kings of the sects allied themselves. Thus, the road was paved for Ali, for one of the major production companies to hire him to direct the series King Farouk, which was a production and directing boom at the time, unlike autobiographical series. He reviewed the from of life in Egypt through to life of the last kings of Egypt. The series has escaped the part of drawing in subjectivity at the expense of the overall image, as is customary in autobiographical series such as Al-Ayyam and Kulthum. The series was integrated in most of its elements of directing, image and acting to be a new level in the later of the rise of this director. Omar series. Ali included the stage of the historical series with Omar, which is the largest in terms of production, at a cost of 200 million Saudi riyals, which is equivalent to $53 million at the time, the most dramatic of its time. The series was characterized by a number of elements, such as huge battles, which showed the full capabilities of Ali in controlling the war crews, and the continuation of the new image presented in his previous dramas. Omar witnessed a lot of controversy, as many demanded that he be banned from showing his embodiment of a number of the companions' personalities. After that, Ali continued to present many series, the last of which was Hatem Ali in 2019, which enjoyed remarkable success due to its difference and uniqueness, and he was preparing to film his new series Safar Barlik in Egypt, which is the largest production project in the Arab world, according to the statements of the producing company. Ali had intended to transform the novel Mosaic of Damascus by the Syrian writer Fawaz Haddad into a future film, as well as the novel Time of the White Horses by the Palestinian poet and novelist Ibrahim Nasrallah, in addition to presenting a new cinematic version of his work. Al-Zir Salim, starring Jamal Suleiman, except Deeth, chose him to leave our world on December 29 at the age of 58 in a hotel in Cairo, leaving behind a great artistic legacy that requires a great responsibility to maintain his level. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new. Wikitube, the first audiovisual encyclopedia in the English version.